If an officer held out a hand for your phone right now, would you know the one thing you must do before it leaves your hand? If you hand over an unlocked phone, you can expose your whole life in seconds. Your texts, photos, bank apps, and location trail can all become the center of a case before you even realize what just happened. Hit subscribe right now because what you're about to hear could protect your privacy when you're under pressure. Smash like now so you can find this again when your brain goes blank in a real stop. Here's the reality. Your phone is not just a phone anymore. It's your wallet, your diary, your camera, your search history, your private chats, and a map of where you've been. When you hand it over carelessly, you're not giving away one object. You're giving away a full picture of your life. I've analyzed over 200 body cam videos, and the same mistake shows up again and again. People panic. People try to look cooperative. People think, if I've done nothing wrong, I should just hand it over. That is exactly how small stops turn into big problems. Let me show you exactly what you need to say, what you need to do with your phone before it leaves your hand. I will show you how to stop consent from being used against you, and which court rulings back you up when things get serious. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much for you. Most people have no idea how fast this goes bad. An officer asks to just take a quick look. It sounds casual. It sounds harmless. It sounds like saying no will make you look guilty. So you hand over your phone. Sometimes it's still unlocked. Sometimes you unlock it because you think being polite helps. Then the whole stop changes. A text gets misread. A photo raises questions. A location pin creates a story you'd never meant to tell. Here's the reality. Once you volunteer access, you make your own fight much harder later. That's why your goal is simple. You stay calm, you do not resist, you do not argue. But you also do not make their job easier with your own hands. The first thing you do is lock your phone and say you do not consent. Before your phone leaves your hand, your screen should be dark and locked. Not open, not half open, not sitting on messages. Locked. Then you use one short sentence. Here's exactly what you say. My phone is locked, and I do not consent to any search. Word for word. Memorize that line. Say it calmly. Say it once. If they didn't hear you, say it again the same way. This works because consent is a huge deal. If you act like you're fine with a search, you give away one of your strongest protections. But when you clearly say you do not consent, you create a clean record. That matters if the stop gets reviewed later. Defense attorneys use this exact line in court because it draws a bright line. You did not agree. You did not invite a search. You did not make it easy for anyone to claim you were okay with it. This is 100% legal. You're not fighting, you're not grabbing, you're not pulling away. You're simply locking your own device and stating your choice. That's it. And you should do this before the phone leaves your hand, not after. Once the device is gone, your leverage drops. Your words still matter, but your locked screen matters too. Bad way. Most drivers say, sure, here you go, I've got nothing to hide. Then the officer gets an open screen and starts building a bigger case. Good way. Smart drivers say, my phone is locked and I do not consent to any search. Then the officer knows you're not giving permission and the record starts in your favor. Watch what happens when you do this right. The whole tone changes. Now the officer has to decide whether to back off, secure the phone, or go get legal authority. That is a much better place for you to be than handing over an unlocked device with your whole life sitting on the screen. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings. In Riley v. California, the court said your phone is different from normal stuff. Your phone is different because it holds so much of your private life. In plain English, police generally need a warrant to search the digital content on your phone, even after an arrest. That does not mean every officer will stop asking. It means your refusal matters. Your locked phone matters. Your words matter. And let's be real about the bad outcome if you skip this. You think you're being helpful. Then an old message, a joke, a search, or somebody else's text creates a whole new problem. You spend months trying to explain something you never should have exposed in the first place. Your best move is boring, simple, and repeatable. Lock it. State non-consent. Keep your cool. That one move can save you from a giant mess. Still watching? Good. Drop a like if this already changed how you think about your phone. Tell me in the comments if you've ever been asked to hand it over. The second thing you do is force them to say whether this is a request or an order. You need that answer because those are not the same thing. A request means you may be able to say no. An order means you comply physically, but you still do not consent. Here's exactly what you say. Am I legally required to hand over my phone? That's the line. Short, calm, clear, then stay quiet and wait. Here's the trick they don't want you knowing. A lot of people hand over rights because they never make the officer be specific. The question sounds friendly, so they treat it like a small favor. But your question changes the whole moment. It forces clarity. Is this voluntary or is it not? If it's voluntary, you know you can refuse. If it's not voluntary, you know to comply without physically resisting while still protecting your rights with your words. Bad way. Most drivers say, if I say no, will that make me look guilty? Then they start talking too much and giving away more than they need to. Good way. Smart drivers say, am I legally required to hand over my phone? Then they force a clear answer before they move an inch. Here's why that matters for you. When people panic, they fill the silence. They explain, they joke. They try to charm their way out. That is almost always a mistake. Legal experts agree this is your strongest protection. Use clear questions and short answers. Nothing extra, nothing emotional, nothing rambling. If you're ordered to hand it over, you do not fight. You do not pull your hand back. You do not make sudden moves. You simply repeat your boundary. I do not consent to any search of my phone. Then you stop talking. This is where good drivers save themselves, and they understand the difference between physical compliance and legal consent. You may have to hand over the object. You do not have to bless the search with your own words. That is a huge difference. And if the officer says you're not required to hand it over, then your answer is simple. I'm not consenting to that. That's it. No speech, no debate, no attitude. Former police officers have confirmed this works because calm people are harder to escalate. When you stay steady, ask a clear question, and stop volunteering, you remove a lot of the chaos officers use. Watch what happens. Instead of you helping build the case, the pressure shifts back where it belongs, on them. There's another reason this helps you. In Carpenter v. United States, the Supreme Court ruled on privacy. The court said your cell phone location data is private enough that police usually need a warrant to get a lot of it. In plain English, your phone reveals a deep map of your life. That matters because your device is not a simple item like a pack of gum or a set of keys. It is personal history in your pocket. When you ask if you are legally required, you are not being difficult. You are protecting something the courts have already said is deeply private. Now, the third move is the one most people mess up under stress. Never unlock your phone. And never give your code on the spot. Listen closely because this is critical. If they already have the phone in hand, your next mistake can still destroy your best protection. Here's exactly what you say. I will not unlock my phone. I want a lawyer. Say those exact words. Then stop. Do not explain. Do not argue. Do not try to sound clever. This matters because your unlock is not some tiny step. Your unlock can be the whole game. The moment you type your code or open it for them, you may be giving them what they wanted most. Access. Not later. Not after a judge looks at it. Right now. And once that happens, you cannot undo it. That is why you keep your hands off the screen and keep your mouth closed except for that one line. Bad way. Most drivers say, I'll open it for you, but only for a second. Then a quick look turns into photos, messages, apps, and questions you never saw coming. Good way. Smart drivers say, I will not unlock my phone, I want a lawyer. Then the questioning slows down and the decision moves to lawyers and judges. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings and the basic idea behind your Fifth Amendment right. This right protects you from helping build the case against yourself. The law on phone passcodes can get messy. That is exactly why your safest move is simple. Do not unlock, ask for a lawyer. Defense attorneys use this exact line in court because it shuts down the pressure and preserves your position. And you should think about your phone settings before any stop ever happens. If your phone uses a long passcode, that helps you. Face or thumb unlock can get more complicated. So when you have a second and things feel tense, lock the phone fully, use the passcode setting, keep it closed. That one habit can matter more than people realize. I've analyzed over 200 body cam videos, and the people who get into the deepest trouble usually talk themselves there. They try to sound innocent. They try to prove they're nice. They try to show they have nothing to hide. But your rights do not depend on looking confident or pure. Your rights depend on you using them. This is 100% legal. Asking for a lawyer is not rude. Refusing to unlock is not a confession. It is protection. And if you're thinking, won't this make me look suspicious? Remember this. Your job is not to perform innocence for a stranger in a stressful moment. Your job is to protect your life, your data, your family photos, your private chats, and your future. Most people already clicked away. If you're still here, you're serious about protecting your rights. Show me by hitting that like button because this next part ties the whole thing together. There's one more move smart people use, and it can save you later even if the phone gets taken anyway. You state your non-consent again on the record. If there's a body cam rolling, you want your words captured clearly. Here's exactly what you say. For the record, I do not consent to any search of my phone, and I am not giving permission to open it. Say it slow. Say it once. If they talk over you, say it again. Why does this help you? Because memory gets fuzzy and reports get cleaned up. Your clean sentence on body cam does not get fuzzy. It tells your side in real time. It shows you were calm. It shows you were clear. It shows you did not agree. Former police officers have confirmed this works because body cam changes how everything gets reviewed later. If your words are on tape, your lawyer has something real to point to. Bad way. Most drivers say nothing after the phone is taken. Then the report later makes it sound like there was no objection. Good way. Smart drivers say, For the record, I do not consent to any search of my phone, and I am not giving permission to open it. Then there is a clear record that you objected. You are not doing this to win an argument on the roadside. You are doing this for later. Maybe the officer never opens the phone. Great. Maybe they try anyway. Your words still matter. Maybe a judge reviews the stop. Your words matter even more then. Now let's connect the legal side in plain English. Riley v. California said police usually need a warrant for digital content. Carpenter v. United States said police usually need a warrant to get a lot of your cell phone location history. United States versus Hubble says the government cannot always force you to hand over the very evidence that builds the case. Imagine a taillight stop. The officer asks to see your phone. You lock it and state non-consent clearly. If they order you, comply physically, but repeat your non-consent for the record. Never provide your unlock code. You are making them do the work. This is how you protect your data, preserve your rights, and help your future lawyer. Coming next week, I'm breaking down face and fingerprint unlock. Subscribe now and drop a comment with the line you memorized. Stay safe.